Coming up, what is going on in DC? Join us as we break down the state of DC Studios. Stay tuned. Welcome to Art and Nick's Movie Show, where we break down the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. We are your hosts, Arturo Padilla, along with Mr. Nick Valdez. Tex, how you doing today, buddy? What is up, man?
Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Arturo. New name, same game as the Morgue. If you were listening to the Morgue, we're doing the same thing here. We just wanted to broaden our experiences here a little bit and talk about a little bit more. And so DC Studios is a great way to jump into this because, we just, please, buddies, if you're on their same feed, you might have heard us talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's out this same time as we're recording this to kind of date this a little bit, but it's kind of putting it all into perspective of, Marvel, they're kind of struggling right now, trying to find their feet, and DC Studios is kind of struggling in a different way going forward. It's not only does, unfortunately go back in the archives, and Arturo and I loved Supergirl. You and I, we both defended it, and we were both like, yeah, this was a good movie, but
yes.
No one really agreed if that
I still stand by that. I was able to watch a VOD version of Supergirl because my daughter wanted to watch it, right? And on second watch, it is a little slower than the first time around, but I think Millie Alcock did an awesome job as Supergirl, and I want to see more of her in this universe. Yes. I think they got that part right, which is the most important part. And also Krem was a pretty awesome bad guy. People gave him a lot of slack for not being, Doomsday or Darkseid, but it's like, hey, for the story we got, I thought the villain was appropriate, but DC is definitely not in the same level right now as Marvel at all, especially with the release of Brand New Day, as you mentioned, Tex. Marvel right now is definitely jumping ahead in that race, and we're back in it again, dude.
Yeah, because Supergirl unfortunately did not do well in the box office, and usually in these cases we'd be like, okay, well that's it for Supergirl, right?
Yeah.
It's different with DC Studios because now we're getting we got the first real look at Clayface with a trailer, and it looks awesome, dude. It looks like it's horror intent. It's Mike Flanagan originally wrote that script. Mike Flanagan, for those who don't know, is the creator behind some of the most beloved Netflix shows with, Haunting a Hill House, Fall of the House of Usher, Midnight Mass, good horror stuff, right?
And did Dr. Sleep, folks. If you haven't seen Dr. Sleep, go catch that. It's a little long, but trust me, it's worth the watch.
Yeah, it's awesome. And he's done such great work that now that he wrote a script for Clayface, you're like, oh, that immediately makes it interesting because it's horror. But once again, when you think about it in the grand scheme of what's going on, this is a small side Batman character in the universe, and it's a horror movie. And you're like, okay, well, if Supergirl didn't do well in the box office, what chance does Clayface have to do well?
Wow,
in the
what a
office?
Great point, dude.
And when putting that all into perspective, it's kind of pointing out that this strategy that James Gunn has so far, and James Gunn and Peter Safran have so far with DC Studios, is to kind of try things. It's to kind of experiment with these, maybe they kind of anticipated taking a hit at the box office and doing these movies that are maybe they put less money into, that are smaller budgets, but with the intention of just getting the brand out there and expanding. And because we have a show like Lanterns coming to HBO Max, we just got the recent trailer for that over the San Diego Comic-Con weekend, and it looks awesome. It's got all the green that people have been asking for this whole time, but once again, this is it takes on an entirely different tone than everything else, and it's a smaller project. And we've just had stuff like Peacemaker, we've had all these things. Coupled with that, you have the big tentpoles, right? You have Superman Man of Tomorrow coming in 2027, and then unfortunately we've got Batman Part 2 coming out in 2028. the most recent update for that one, Arturo, was the Robert Pattinson starring Batman has been bumped from its originally planned like fall 27 release to now winter 2028 or maybe even longer. And you hear 2028 and you're like, that's not a real year. That is not a real thing yet. So this is all to say, Arturo, this is also in the midst of
God, dude.
Warner Brothers and Paramount. Even they're trying to merge together. It's still developing as the time we're recording this still, and there's even like a hold on it now for legal reasons, and we'll see how that develops, because if there's a lot of stuff that needs to be like still going into that, because like if it doesn't fall through, then like Paramount has to pay Warner Brothers like $9 billion or something, and they also have to pay Netflix like close to $3 billion, like if the merger doesn't go through, because Netflix was, that whole thing. And like we'll see what happens, because like if that goes through, what also happens to DC Studios? And it's just funny because like during the midst of all this, you're getting Clayface and you're getting Supergirl, which are like, these aren't big movies, right? Like these aren't like, big things. And unfortunately it sucks that Supergirl was like at the center of so much of that chaos and so much of that box office stuff, because it unfortunately does mean something. Like they kind of, they're, it's tough to get into like how a merger works, right? But like new executives come in, they like clean house of whatever other older projects that the studio had going on before to start their new thing, because that's really all executives can do, to prove, like they want to prove to themselves that they spent the money right, and they want to prove to themselves that they know what's best for everything. And that means cleaning house of whatever older stuff was going on and starting their own new thing, right? Like there's a chance that if Paramount comes in, we're getting Justice League right off the bat or something, right? Like there's a chance that they'll just do another Batman movie. Like they'll do their own Batman movie. Because if I'm Paramount, I'm like, why is our only Batman movie coming in 2028? What's going on here? Why is it this Batman the same version that's gonna be with this Superman? And then
yeah.
And if
honestly, dude, like that's all on DC Studios. They kind of wrote themselves into a corner there with that,
Yeah.
And with the Batman nonsense, it's like Sony with their Into the Spider-Verse kind of situation where
yes,
it just keeps getting pushed back, and the fans are like, we're losing interest, so this is why they just dropped that little like teaser of a teaser on us, which is just Pattinson turning around. I don't even know if that's him on set or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it was like a camera test or something. So it's not even like footage from the actual movie.
Which is like, come on, like what are we doing here? What are we doing? And then on top of that, we have Clayface. Like you said, it's part of it's a villain from Batman, and it's not like one of the major villains either. It's not like you go down the line, Joker, Penguin, Riddler, Poison Ivy, and then you get Clayface. It doesn't even work that way,
Yes. Like it's like in Teen Titans Go, their movie, they like watched a bunch of trailers for like a bunch of random characters who got their own movies. That's what Clayface feels like, right?
I just saw that again with my kid the other day, and we love that movie so much. Slade.
And you know what? Funny enough, I don't think Teen Titans Go would be going anywhere. Like because I think like if whatever Paramount does when they take over Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure like they see how much money that show makes, and like they're like, why would we stop that? Like it's easy money, and I love Teen Titans Go. They should make another movie. Speaking of, like, if so all good. The movies that they should be making, but no, this is to say, like, you're so right, Arturo. Like, out of all the options, Clayface, right?
Yeah,
and you're like, and I get it, because James Gunn, he's more artist driven, and he's more like, if we get a good script, we're gonna make the movie.
Yeah, but like look at Supergirl, right? Look what happened with
Yes.
Supergirl. Like I like the movie, but it's not like it's Matt Reeves with the Batman, right? It was more to introduce Kara Zor-El and her character, Amelia Alcock, as Supergirl, more than it was to make a competent Supergirl movie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's coming from somebody who actually enjoyed the movie, and I've seen it twice, and both times I thought it was still a good movie. But like James Gunn has this thing, and we've spoken about Mr. Gunn for years now. You know what I mean? Going back to his Guardian of the Galaxy days, we've spoken about him just doing a little bit too much, grabbing these obscure characters that no one really knows and trying to do something with them. And I'm a horror guy. I'm a horror guy first, more than anything else. And I love Flanagan, but I never expected to see Clayface be at the top of their green light schedule. You know what I mean? Like, if you were gonna do a bad guy, why not grab a villain that you're gonna like do in a different movie? Like, why not do a Luthor movie and how Luthor came up and or something like that? You know what I mean? But like, what is the end game with Clayface? You know, we don't even have a Batman yet in Gunn's universe of Superman. And there's been talk of casting rumors and stuff like that. But again, with Gunn, it's all a rumor until it's official, right? And that said, I want to see Clayface, but I also want to have some kind of connection here with what we're doing with Superman, because that universe was opened up and they said, oh, superheroes have been around for 300 years and all this other stuff. Like, cool, but let's focus. You know what I mean? Like, even with the stuff with Creature Commandos, we have a new season of that coming out as well. But it's like, all that did was give more insight into, you know, Rick Flag's character. Really, we didn't see any of those other heroes pop up anywhere else. It was more about Flag and what he was doing on the side, and like it did sprinkle in some Amanda Waller stuff as well. But let's focus, you know, like we have Doomsday coming out this December, and Marvel is looking to get back on top of everything. They know that they lost a lot of fans. They know they lost a lot of eyeballs throughout the years because of the quality of movies and content that they've been putting out. And DC is very slow to, you know, gain ground there. It's like, yes, we have Superman, which I also enjoyed. And I enjoyed it a lot because of Corey Sweat and Superman, but that wasn't, you know, that wasn't Avengers. That wasn't Brand New Day.
Yeah, you're so right, because there's a difference between having too much to worry about in your continuity, right? Like that's the Marvel problem, right? They had too much that people had to watch, and had to get through, and had to build to whatever, right? Like things were too closely connected. So I understand wanting to avoid that, right? With James Gunn, your immediate reaction is to be like, okay, we saw how they messed up by making everything homework, right? Like by making every show and every movie absolutely necessary. So the plan is to then be like, okay, well, these projects are just parts of our universe. And that's the wrong move too, as we're seeing, because people still, like, we've talked about this at length in past episodes about just like multiverse in general, and like the fact that like when we get this new version of, like, when we get Robert Pattinson's Batman in 2028, people just generally are not going to be able to get that this Batman still isn't the Batman that's going to interact with Superman, right? You're like, it's that we still have to be sold an entirely different Batman, which is incredibly dumb, because once again, that's too far. That's too much separation between your projects. There is a difference. There is a middle ground that DC Studios or Marvel at this point need to find, to where we can jump. Yes, keep the whole jump into whatever you want, and then still enjoy whatever movie, whatever, without having to do the homework. But then also don't feel like it's being siloed too much. When you're like, I don't want to sit there and watch Clayface and be like, well, that was a cool Clayface one-shot story, cool movie, but then ultimately you're like, okay, DC Studios made a cool small movie,
dude.
So what? Like that's not what they need to do
exactly.
right now.
And it's funny if you think about it. Why didn't they just flip it? Give us the Lanterns movie, which is more relevant to what's going on with Superman and that James Gunn universe, and then give us a Clayface like 8-episode show. You know, I don't like that. I just thought about it just now. I'm like, how does this make any sense? Like, why are we putting Clayface in theaters but Lanterns on the small screen when Lanterns has Guy Gardner in it and has direct ties to Superman, and Jon Stewart is supposed to be in Man of Tomorrow, you know? Like, so it just kind of boggles my mind as to what they're doing there, but it's also very James Gunn of everything. He's not Kevin Feige, you know what I mean? He's not a person who's been responsible for an entire phase or two or three or four of superheroes.
He's not going to be that as much as people like rag on Feige, like he's not going to be a heartless executive when you need to be, right? Like he'll say yes to a Clayface movie because he likes the script. When I hate speaking on like this, right? Like speaking as a business, because I'm not. I am a consumer. I'm going to watch this movie when it comes out. But like speaking on the business side of things, thinking like an executive, your first question would be, why? You're like, good script or not, like you're like your brand expansion, brand experiments, the whole DC Studios, our thing moving forward is to be like an art house, like to be an art house brand, right? To be like a brand where we can make these things and then still do the crossovers. But no, like
you're in the wrong studio for that.
Yes, like your directive right now should be building. You should be building a universe, dude. You can't build you're going too far with this. And as cool as Clayface looks, I think I think we hit the nail on the head, Arturo. Like we're gonna watch it and hopefully we're gonna like it. We're gonna be like, oh yeah, that was super cool. But then
what?
It.
Right?
Yes,
but then what? And also on top of that too, again, thinking back business wise, which is honestly how this movie industry is run first, right? Business wise. The box office numbers for Clayface, like, are probably not going to be better than Supergirl's numbers.
No,
you know what I mean? Supergirl is an
all.
established character with an S on her chest. Clayface is a Batman villain that isn't the first 3 or 4 or 5 even think about. And then on top of that, it's like I said,
no kidding. Kidding.
Like Lanterns would probably do better at the box office because of the recognition, Like I understand Warner Brothers made a huge mistake with the first Green Lantern iteration and with Ryan Reynolds and that terrible movie, but scrape it off. You know what I mean? Like, just brush yourself off.
You're so right.
You brush your stuff off with Man of Steel and Henry Cavill. Why can't you do the same here?
Oh my God, you're so right. It's been like 20 years, dude. Like when did Green Lantern come out? Like 2009 or something?
Dude,
like,
it was in the early aughts for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like get over it. Like get over yourselves, get over it. And at the end of the day, it's cool being like being artist driven first. We love this initiative. You love to hear someone in charge being like, I want to make the best stuff. But then if the best stuff is these small itsy bitsy projects and we're not getting a Batman movie until 2028, you got to be like, okay, what's going on? Like, and I know like it sucks too. Cause I want to talk about the Batman stuff even more because you're like, it took Matt Reeves such a long time. Like this is going to come out like 6 years after the first movie or something like that. Like Batman 1 came out in like 2022 or something. Like, and
Jesus Christ.
or 2024 or whatever, right? It's been such a long time. And, it sucks because he took so long to write the script in the first place. And immediately you want to be like, well, get on that. But then as a human being, or as a creator, you probably also understand that, okay, you think back to what happened with Zack Snyder and you're like, oh, in retrospect, understand what happened with the Snyder cut and Justice League and all that stuff, bad stuff happened. Could be the same case in Matt Reeves, right? Like, I'm not saying that, like he might have been going through something that, no one knows about. It just took a hit on him creatively,
Which
and everyone around him understood. But with that being said, if you know that's happening,
exactly.
if I like if I know that's happening, and if I know I'm not getting his Batman until this point in time, I, as a just someone as running a studio and a brand, would be like, hey, let's get our Batman out here a
Yes,
little bit.
exactly. And like Tech said, like people go through things. Like we're all human beings. We all go through our personal struggles, our personal tribulations and stuff. And if that happens, you as a creator have to take a step back and be honest with yourself too. Like, hey, I can't do this right now. And
Yeah.
I understand if the studio gave you that leeway, like, you know what? The first one was so good. We're fine with waiting for your iteration, right? But then
Yes.
they moved themselves into this position with James Gunn and Safran and this new look DC, universe, that now you're at a different point in time. When that first Batman came out, we didn't have Chlorine Sweat as Superman. We didn't have James Gunn in the fold yet. And once that happened, they should have taken a step back and been like, hey, I don't think we're gonna be getting Reeves' Batman soon. And like Tech said, we have to move on. You know what I mean? We have a plan in place. And if you're holding one of the Trinity hostage, you know what I mean? Batman, like one of the most iconic heroes ever. He's being held hostage by the studio because of this process. They have to learn how to cut ties, man. I'm sorry. Like it just comes to a point. It's like, hey, do you not, or do you want to build this properly? And to build it properly, you need Bruce Wayne in the fold, dude. No matter what. I don't care if you have Superman already established. You need Bruce Wayne in the fold at some point, dude.
It sucks because we know it's going to be a good movie, right? This is all we're complaining, and we're going to be sitting there day one going, wow, that was a great movie.
But then what? Then what, Tex? Then how like they've made it very clear that is this Elseworlds kind of situation, this whole other universe, which again, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, don't start something like Superman last year, where you're like 300 years of heroes and he's been around and there's all these other stuff going on. Yeah, sure. But the Batman came before that and there's no ties whatsoever to that. And you're supposed to be in this comic book universe, dude. It doesn't make any sense, Tex.
Yeah. And in that time, we got the Penguin too, which was also just telling us once again that this is a good world that we want to explore. And you're like, okay, I'll wait for part 2. But if this Batman was going to be his own thing, you as a studio head, you would figure, okay, if we're not going to get this Batman, and if we're not going to say goodbye to it either, like I do think that might be a little extreme, cutting ties with it completely, but I get it because, you should have streamlined your own Batman. You should have been like, okay, bring me all your Batman scripts. Whoever's got the best one will do it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because dude, when Paramount comes in, what do you think they're going to do first? Right? They're going to do
Where's Batman?
Yes. Here is a new Batman. Here is their Batman that they're going to do.
Because if you go back again, it's a numbers game, Tex. If you go back to box office figures, Superman has never really been that movie that's been outstanding for them in the box office. It's been Batman, and kind of every iteration of Batman that's been like doing well for them, even if it's Batman and Robin, and you know what I mean? Like, there's still made some numbers, dude. It's something about the Cape Crusader and his universe that draws people to the theaters. And with this in mind, they messed up, dude. Like they messed up, and I think Gunn is also at fault here because he's very stubborn. Like him and his like, oh no, we're not we're waiting for the script to be finished and everything. Like, no, you are responsible for this universe. You need to know that this character, along with Wonder Woman, are extremely important to telling stories here.
They're playing with time that they don't have. That's the thing, right? You're playing with house money that you just don't. That's running out very soon. And the Wonder Woman thing, we didn't even touch on that. Like, what's going on there, right? Because it's so wild that, thinking back to Gunn and Safran announcing like their first slate of movies that they wanted to do, right? When you think back on those projects, the only Wonder Woman thing was like about the Amazon island that they wanted to, and it's like, come on, dude, like, no, if I brand new studio, brand new thing, brand new initiative should be here. We're making a Superman movie, we're making a Batman, and we're making a Wonder Woman, and then we're going to figure out everything else from there.
That's right? It. It's like going back to the Snyderverse conversation, Tex. They had Man of Steel, and then all of a sudden, because Marvel was raking in all this money, they were like, no, we have to streamline and greenlight Justice League ASAP without even establishing the universe first. This is why, like you said, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Figure that out, and then everything else will fall in place. But like I said before, Gunn is at fault here as well. That list of movies that they wanted to come out, like a lot of that was obscure stuff. Like he had the authority on there, for God's sakes. He had to walk back and be like, no, we're not doing that because it doesn't fit in the grand scheme of things. So why even put that out there? Why even think about writing an authority along with everything else? Like, no, figure it out. You have the Holy Trinity at your disposal here, yet we're only seeing Superman. And we got a Supergirl movie before we even got a Wonder Woman movie. You know what I mean? And it's like, did we really need that? And now we have Clayface coming out in theaters this October, which, again, we're going to watch it because we watch all the movies here. And I'm a horror guy, and I love Flanagan.
It's going to be good. It'll probably be good. Like,
it looks like a really good movie. But then again, it's like, where is the end game in all of that? Where does that lead us to? Because we have a Lanterns TV show this month, right? And then we have Clayface in October. He already greenlit Creature Commando Season 2. We have Man of Tomorrow coming out in 2027. I'd rather not have any of this other nonsense in between Man of Tomorrow and the previous Superman or even Supergirl. I'm fine with Supergirl because we needed her there, right? Obviously, she's going to play a big role in Man of Tomorrow, but it's like,
and it was,
hey,
it was like a 1.5. Like it ended up like playing into Superman's story.
Exactly, because it did tell more of the Kal-El origin, which is great, fine. But like, why not give us Lanterns on the big screen, knowing that Jon Stewart is going to be in Man of Tomorrow, and then give us a TV show about somebody else, like what's Lex Luthor doing in prison or something? You know what I mean? Like take advantage of the story that you already told.
Speaking of, they're working on like a Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd show, which is like,
again, what are we doing here, Tex? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, I love Jimmy Olsen's character. I love the fact that it's that actor. He's great from Gemstones. Awesome. Great. But Gorilla Grodd? Like, really?
Yeah, you're like, what's going on? You're like, just, I don't know. There's got to be a happy medium between what Marvel did of just stacking the deck with every little thing and telling people to watch every little thing because you need to know every little thing. And then versus what DC Studios is doing now of like, you can watch whatever you want and you'll be fine. There's got to be something in the middle of like having some, like, there's got to be enough continuity without going too overboard, right? There's got to be a middle ground.
I don't know. And remember who's ahead of all this stuff? James Gunn. It's all or nothing with that dude, bro.
Yeah, like
look, like we got freaking 2 seasons of Peacemaker, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? How did we even get 1 season of Peacemaker to begin with?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like it's tough.
It really is tough, man. It's tough. And you know who suffers, Tex? Us, the fans. Yeah. Like the fans suffer because we're here like, hey, we want to see Pattinson as Batman again because we really like that iteration. But you're over here holding everything up because that's not your Batman, Like if we were going to get if we were going to get just the Reeves Batman universe, fine. I'll wait for that, okay? Because it proved to be successful. We really enjoyed the Penguin show here. If you need to do another little small one-shot TV show to keep this going, but we're in this situation that James Gunn has put himself in by not committing to any of the Batman stuff, by not committing to any of the Wonder Woman stuff, to committing to these obscure characters that no one cares about. No one cares about anyone in Creature Commando. And again, with Clayface, gonna be cool, but no one cares about Clayface. Like,
that's what sucks, right? Because it's like, because as a movie and TV fan, we're gonna watch these things because chances are they're gonna be good, and it's just like, but also, who cares, right? And I don't want to be entirely dismissive, right? I want to have that open mind, but like, who cares?
Who cares? Exactly.
What's going, I'm like, who? My question still is like, what's going on with Wonder Woman? Where is she at? Where there's things you got to deliver, and you're doing this instead of like Teen Titans. You're doing this instead of like, and it's like, come on. I would understand if those characters got something first, right?
Exactly, because they're properties that people know and love and have been established for years now. Like Nightwing or Robin, but again, you can't do any of that because there's no Batman in this world yet. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, you're so right.
So we're back to the beginning again.
You can't even do a Robin movie because we'd be like, why are they making a Robin movie? I would love to have that complaint if they made a Batman movie first. If they found a Batman, and if we have to do,
you can't have Teen Titans without Bruce Wayne because he's the one that funded everything in the first place.
Dude, if we have to wait until after 2028 to find out who a new Batman was going to be, and then probably get a Batman Part 3 from Reeves in like 2045 or whatever, I don't know, man. Like, that's the thing. I don't think there's time. I think,
especially with Doomsday around the corner and Secret Wars already announced by Marvel, and we have probably a new Spider-Man movie coming out even before we get, another Batman movie. You know what I mean? But honestly, if this will all be solved if he figured out his Bruce Wayne problem and introduces him in Man of Tomorrow, because that's the only. Dude, you just have to throw him in there. Just throw a Wayne Industries thing in there somehow. It's like they did with Man of Steel, how they threw in that Wayne building coming down, and that's how Ben Affleck got, involved with everything. Tex, it's very concerning, but buddies at home, we're here for you guys here at the movie show. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys think about all of this craziness with DC Studios, about their release schedule, about the lack of Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Wonder Woman, about the lack of just a proper continuity in their universe altogether. We have two different universes kind of about to conflict very soon. If Superman's coming out in 27, the Batman 2 is coming out in 28, what does that all mean for us here? Stay tuned to the movie show, and you guys will hopefully get the scoop. Thank you so much for listening. This is Art and Nick's Movie Show, where we break down the latest and greatest in the world of entertainment. We are your hosts, Arturo Padilla, along with Mr. Nick Valdez. A big shout out goes to you guys out there for listening and for watching. Just because we have a new name does not mean our archive is gone. We have all of this up on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcast streams. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. Leave us some stars. Leave us some comments. We'd highly appreciate it. Hit that bell up there. That way you know when all these movie show episodes are dropping. Big shout out always goes to my man Del Virus with all the help he gave us with the morgue. And we will see you in the next show.